For thousands of years I lay dormant. Who has disturbed my...
Hey, best buddy!
But I want to stay here with you.
Oh!
I'm gonna rip you in half now.
Holy moly, what an absolute banger of a trailer we received. Which only excites me more because with every passing moment, we inch closer and closer to Monster Hunter Wilds. And I simply cannot wait to put my grubby hands on this game and go absolutely yeah, I know. Before I start the video, to all my Gammas fans out there that were patiently waiting and praying for Gammas' return in this trailer or whatever, me included, look, the moment you didn't see any ounce of snow or any cold biome whatsoever was the moment you should have known this wasn't her trailer. Rest assured, we should still have one more biome to cover for Wilds if I remember correctly, so have no doubt we'll most likely see her in the next one. Right, Capcom?
Nope.
So with a new trailer drop, always comes a new video about my thoughts and impression with it. And I will be breaking down the 5th trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds, going through it in small segments and sharing my thoughts and impressions as we go. Do keep in mind, these are my raw initial reactions, and it's not meant to be super deep, overanalyzed, or super constructive. My channel is never meant to be any of that. I'm simply just a dude that loves Monster Hunter and yapping about it.
¿Quieres?
So if that aligns with what you want to see in a Monster Hunter YouTuber, then yeah, you could do maybe that.
Shut the fuck up!
But disregarding that note, let's not dilly-dally anymore and let's just dive right into it. And starting right off the bat with the trailer, we receive a new area reveal, the Oilwell Basin, or the Everforge, either or. And it seems to be our volcanic biome for this game, which, in case you haven't noticed, is completely different from the usual volcanic biomes we've ever had. To which I have to say, yes, sir! Thank you, Capcom. This is absolutely a breath of fresh air we desperately needed. Because when I say we, I mean me. And not because of the thought of Gogmazios returning as a free title update siege monster in a remote, isolated arena near the Oilwell Basin makes me extremely feral and unhinged, but because all things considered, I'd rather take this kind of scenery where we're inside a massive man-made forge that's able to harbor and allow monsters to roam and exist, rather than the gazillion of times that we've been on top of or inside of a volcano. So once again, good job, Capcom. Nice. Continuing off the trailer, as usual, Capcom loves showing us the story side of Wilds, which I'm all for, not complaining. But try not to show us too much, Capcom. We'll still love it if you hold out on a lot of the story bits for when the game actually releases. I know it's a marketing tactic on their part to make the game look great and enjoyable, but please don't insult your fans. People in today's day and age can easily deduce many stories with just small bits and clips. But then again, it's Monster Hunter, so the story typically isn't at the forefront.
I guess what I'm trying to say is the struggle is real.
Moving on with the trailer, what the f*** is that? Brother in Christ, this has to be the ugliest motherfucker I've seen to date, and that says a lot given that these two hold the crown at the moment. Just look at that stare, look at that head twitch. Oh, you already know. Oh my god, this is definitely our disgusting monster right here. And my god, is he uncomfortable to look at. Look at how he just forms. But like in a good way, you know, not like a certain monster I know. But enough about Rompopolo's appearance, let's move on to the gameplay part itself. And judging by the gameplay behind me, it seems we fight him in the most concentrated oil spot in the Oilwell Basin. Which doesn't seem surprising given the look of his nature and all that. He definitely has these gas pockets forming in his design, which makes me believe he has to do a lot with gas. And given the next few clips we see of him, yeah, it's a no-brainer, he does. Wittiness aside, this just may be a speculation, but it seems the hunter is moving slower than usual in these few clips here, or at least to me it seems that way, and I don't know if it has anything to do with Rompopolo's gas status or the location's terrain, but could this possibly be a return of the oil status we've had in 4U with Gogmazios? And while I'm still on the topic of Rompopolo, you all notice the manipulation he has over this area in this one clip, right? I might just be looking too deep into it, but could this be the same level of manipulation Mudron had with his mud? Or it could just be a coincidence with the location of this place. Knowing how hot this place can become, maybe there's a lot of oily hot springs nearby. Or maybe I'm just looking too deep into it. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop. But moving on here, we have Rompopolo's breath attack. Oh my god. I think I just fell in love. Wait, never mind that. Did you guys see what I saw? Let's quickly rewind the clip then. And holy moly, this is big. So if you're unfamiliar with me, I made a turf war video months ago addressing the beauty and weirdness of turf wars. And if there's anything to take out of this one clip right here, it seems that turf wars are going to be way more fluid this time around, and that's extremely good. Because typically for the 5th gen, we've always had both monsters do this little dance before they initiated their turf wars, and by no means was it inherently bad, but it always seemed clunky and or funny to me. Like they both would do a little shimmy shimmy before they look at each other, roar, and then proceed the turf war sequence. And it seems this time around Capcom got rid of that entirely and just made the monsters go right at it. At least judging by the lunge right here, which does beg a lot of question on how this really is gonna work out, but nevertheless, I welcome the improvement. Which brings me to my favorite part of the trailer, this handsome looking fang beast right here, because if you can't tell by now, I am gushing. Eventually you guys will understand with my next Monster Hunter video, but I am absolutely loving this monster design at the moment. Just look at him. Oh my god, I can't even start. He just looks so fucking cool, and he's a fanged beast as well. Ooh, Rajang, I'm sorry, but it's looking like it's time you share that throne.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Cut to the static sequence. So it seems with the introduction of Ajarakan, this handsome looking boy over here, we also get a clean glimpse of another area within the oil well. And aside from the many people speculating the return of Ketchawetch's arrival due to this little animation sequence here, which if it does happen, called it, this has me thinking about the locale in general. Do we arrive at this certain location based on the story progression, or is it something that's hidden the deeper you go into the oil well? I'd wager it's probably both, but it's also nice to question these things, especially since these biomes are going to be huge to begin with. So will the story be able to cover every ounce of the map while telling a certain narrative, or is this something done by exploration?
You think I didn't think of that? Of course I thought of that.
And speaking about the story progression, we get a good glimpse at what looks to be the climax of the story for this village. And it seems that the hunters, including the villagers, are able to ignite or rekindle this massive forge, which proceeds to give us these little sequences right here. The first one being that the Oilwell Basin goes through this heat cycle, referred to as the fire spring, which only seems logical enough with the whole rekindling of the forge and whatnot. The next clip, we are shown 2 Ajarakans deep within the oil well, which makes me question if both of them appearing here is because of a quest, or is it because of the herd/pack mechanic? I think it's because of the quest, and you'll see why later on. And for our last sequence, this environmental hazard here. Thank the gods that they took advantage of this location's concept and allowed for little contraptions like these to exist. Which, I'm not gonna hold you, I initially chuckled hard as shit because this little clip right here reminded me of the Grim Forge in Baldur's Gate 3, and if you know, you know. And finally, our big reveal, this thing right here. Call me crazy, but I really thought we were getting a subspecies of Nakarkos or something. To which I'm kinda glad we didn't go that route, since I do love the idea of just having another octopus monster as its own thing. So it seems the Black Flame, this octopus thingy, is gonna be the apex monster of the region, and I do have a few questions or speculations on how all of this probably came to be. So it seems the moment the forge is rekindled or ignited, we as hunters have to go exploring once more. Which brings me to my previous point about the two Ajarakans, and this being a quest instead of a random encounter. We clearly see the Black Flame manhandling both of these monsters later on in the trailer, which makes me wonder if the rekindling awakened the beast, released it, or attracted it. At least based on what we saw, this thing only appeared when the forge was ignited. And I'm aware that the fire spring is this biome's heat cycle, but for the sake of the story, I think this is how the fire spring starts off. We, the hunters and villagers, initiated the fire spring by rekindling this massive forge, which in turn lured out the Black Flame, and once the forge was rekindled, yeah, there didn't seem to be a way back from that. So when the forge goes haywire, we are tasked to investigate deeper within the oil well, and that's how we probably meet the two Ajarakans and inevitably the Black Flame. This is all speculation, of course. You can't call me out on anything you want, but this is how the trailer is currently making me feel towards the Black Flame and its story. And since we're on the topic of the Black Flame, let me just say how much I appreciate the simplicity, yet cleverness, to make an octopus this menacing while being covered in oil with eyes only a mother can love. Capcom, as always, excellent design. And one last thing, I hope and pray this one sequence here, this clip right here, is a return of unique pin animations, because this one clip of the hunter getting absolutely barbecued is chef's kiss. Please, Capcom, bring the good old pin animations. I just want to see the hunters getting absolutely f***ed up. And that seems about it when it comes to the trailer. Clearly, we have the time frame from which the open beta will be available, and I hope there's some way I can hop on and play with some of you peeps. I do look forward to seeing your hunters and huntresses out there, because remember, creation is key. And I better not see any of you slacking when it comes down to the fashion and style of your hunters. And while we're on the topic of the open beta, this is easily a perfect time for many of us to test the capabilities of our PC and see if we're able to run this game smoothly, let alone and see if the open beta is truly optimized to do so. But that's what feedback is for, right, Capcom? So wrapping all this up, I have to say that this trailer is yet another banger in the collection for the Wilds hype train. I thoroughly enjoyed making this video, and hopefully if you enjoyed it, you can watch some of my other videos as well. Do note that I am relatively small and working out my format, so ignore any previous mistakes. But with that said, you know what you should do? Put milk somewhere in your username. Trust, it's going to be great, because once everything starts amassing with the name milk, the whole internet's going to start questioning